Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. What's up? What's up? You tuning in to the evening edition of the Ultimate Trolling Warrior, Icy Don, aka Don M-TheeFDMG Boogieman. This one's a little dedication to my dude, Mr. Chappelle. And this goes out to Chappelle because we definitely need individuals to stand up for something. I mean, like for real, for real. Where the real soldiers at? Where my dudes at? My man Memphis Man said, "My niggas, if you with me, where the fuck you at?" Well, that's how Dave Chappelle feels right about now. Also, Kyrie Irving. I mean, he has a I don't care attitude, which is so smooth. You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, it's like, come on, folks. I know I'm not the only one. When you be standing out there, you be feeling like you like the only one who just feels like, damn, is it just me? Sometimes you do need the troops to come in to give you a little bit of energy. You know what I'm saying? And Dave Chappelle, he needs a strong, straight men to stand up for one little second. It's important. We gotta stand up for something straight, man. The very first march that the women did, they did the big old women's march. I was out there, right? I was out there at that women's march. I made about like eight. I made about like how much I made? I made about like $1,600 that day. And I got there late, and it was just crazy. I was upset because I wasn't upset, but it was just I mean I got there late because there was nowhere to park, and I had to park all the way in Long Island City. I didn't go to the one in D.C. I couldn't make that one, so I just went to the one in New York, which is amazing. So I can only imagine what D.C. was like, but I did good in New York. You know what I'm saying? And I killed it because I just so happened to be on point. I had some stuff because I was out there on the trails. I was doing, I was out there following different movements. So I already had some products. So I got lucky that day when that rally took place. And just being out there and seeing all these women out there and really standing up for whatever it is that they was out there standing up for. It was really against Donald Trump. And then they wanted to switch this to a whole men's thing. I mean, it's just about power, though. You know what I'm saying? It's about having control. It's about I want to be down. I want to make noise. You know what I'm saying? I want to take over streets. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. These women was out in the streets. They marching up and down the street, shut it down. And don't y'all think that is needed right now for men? Straight men, straight men, straight men. Don't you think we need a straight men's rally and a straight men's march because we are really truly being like pushed to the back burner behind the stove? Where Dave Chappelle, who's worth more than like half the people on YouTube, and yet and still he's being canceled. Why? Why the fuck are you getting canceled? And you gotta think. Let's really rewind. Let's think about Eddie Murphy. Did they ever say they were gonna cancel Eddie? No, because Eddie was seen with some trannies. Okay. Eddie got caught with some training dudes. Did they ever say they was going? They tried to cancel Martin in a certain way, but Martin put on the dress. Understand? Maybe they was trying to cancel him because after he done put on the dress, he felt some kind of way. So he was about to started talking about certain things, and they silenced him. when you look at all these great comedians, you gotta look at them no different than hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So you got these great black comedians, and anytime they don't go with the game plan, somehow, some way they get pushed to the side. I mean, Paul Mooney was one. He was a great, but he's kind of pushed to the side. We could say white America canceled him out in a certain way, because those who really talk the talk and really walk the walk, it's kind of hard to control them. It was so funny because someone said to me, like, why didn't I take the $8,000? You know what I'm saying? And they say all sorts of craziness about me. But I want to play something for you. I hope you can hear it. I really do.
What was y'all doing? And then I said something about it in one of my specials, and all these women actresses came after me. I said, man, fuck y'all too. You cancel. I ain't jerking off to none of your pictures again. They were like, who is he to tell us anything? I'll tell you exactly who I am. I'm the one that got off the bus and left $50 million on the bus and it walks.
Tired of doing these live streams on this phone. But for some reason, my Google account is not working on my laptop, and I can't even get into it. So I can't do nothing on my laptop. But did you hear him? He said he's the guy who walked away from 50. He got off the bus and walked away from $50 million. And what was he talking about? He was talking about the Me Too movement. He was talking about the women that was out there in city to city rallying. He said he was down with him. Like I said, I was out there. I was making my money, but I was out there. And as I just observed, I saw no substance. And that's what he said. He said he didn't have a problem with it. It just said he didn't see what was done afterwards. You know, like what was your overall outcome? And then they was basically saying, like, who the fuck is he? And he's like, I'm the one who walked away from $50 million. What are y'all walking away from? What are y'all talking about? And so that's what I'm saying is like, should we straight men get behind this man and support this man? I really believe that we need a major movement this year. For 2022 got to be the year for the man. 2022 has to be the year of the man, of the man. For a whole year, I've been trying to beat things in your minds and get things in your head, and so many of us really could organize. It's so hard for me to do certain things because, like I said, I'm being attacked by so many different type of negative energies that just surviving itself, just to be able to talk to you guys, to get the message out there to you, is strong enough. For example, I was looking at E&J's They Live today. And you know what I'm saying, I noticed that they are talking about doing a retreat. Now I don't know if they've been doing retreats for like ever. I don't know what they've been doing. But I do know when I mentioned let's organize a major trip to the FDMG and have this rally and things like that. I know it was really a good idea. But now there's a retreat going on. But like I said, I don't know if that's what they their focus is. But it's like sometimes we gotta listen to what I be saying and really move on it. And if we would have been listening to me as of last year, when this situation came, we would really have a strong revolution behind Dave Chappelle and behind Kyrie Irving. Because when you have men that's ready to stand up, they really need real men to stand front line with them. They need straight men, especially. We need more straight men to really come from behind the phones and come from behind the video games and really get out there and start front lining. Because it's going to start making people not want to stand up and talk if you don't have enough people behind you. Then they just going to fall back. And then those powerful voices that we need that could be on the front line and also supply the resources that we need for any type of revolution that we need to have, they will be there. But as long as we don't have soldiers on that front line with them, all they're going to do is end up just getting their checks and shutting the fuck up. And we don't need Dave Chappelle to just get a check or just disappear because he don't need the check and be silenced because some transgender people. And this is real for real, for real. We got to get behind something in 2022. Us some straight men, it's a must that we really truly get behind something. And I ain't talking about something of feminine quality. I'm talking about something that's straight masculine elegance. We got to get behind a strong men's movement and get back to the front, to them becoming the main dish, the main entree. And that's what this is all about. You know, do we allow Dave Chappelle to be ridiculed by all sorts of people who's been getting checks because they get checks because they are the agent and their company is ran by some LBGT. It's so funny because the dude was saying and plus LBGT plus, like, oh my god. When I gotta be labeled as a LG, you know, I put myself in the category of LGBT plus. It's like, yo, it's not, you don't, that's just, it sounds as ridiculous as the FDMG. It's like, well, how far we've got to reach. And you know, when you sit back and you watch his stage show, which I'm doing right now, I'm sitting here watching it. I'm like, this is comedy at its best. I mean, like it's no different than him talk about white people or Asian people or Michael Jackson. These comedians talk about any and everything in the world, but it's like now since some groups of people who feel like they gotta get so powerful, and we're gonna shut up anybody who's wanting to talk about us. If I talk about my brother and I talk about my sister, and if I talk about my mother and I talk about my father, no one's gonna silence me to talk about your ass. I actually I actually got sent to jail because when I was in court, that bailiff wasn't going to silence me because I was right. The judge wasn't going to silence me because I was right. It's the only thing they can do is throw me in the back. And oh shit, y'all better have field. You're gonna have a field day on my paperwork now. My shit going way on the bottom. We can't keep allowing strong black men's voices to be silenced. We got to get our minds right. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm talking about Dave Chappelle, who's a comedian. I'm sitting here watching it. I mean, I'm laughing, crying, and I'm saying we can't allow comedians. He's a comedian, folks. We can't allow our voices to be silenced. And I ain't talking about just knucklehead voices. I'm talking about those voices that makes sense and make a difference. It's imperative for us men who are straight, who support straight men. I ain't talking to all these dudes. You know, you guys do whatever you want, feel how you want. I'm just talking to the straight men because it's time for a straight. I mean, come on, folks. Wouldn't y'all like to see a straight man march? We ain't talking about a million man march led by a religious group. We talk about a straight man march. It's time for that, a straight man march. I know I'm not the only dude that think this way. There got to be somebody in Mississippi who's organizing a straight man march. gotta be some real country nigga out there who's saying, nah, fuck this shit. Yo, we gotta organize this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be somebody out there who's really gully and have the have freedom in this time to really be able to do this. Because we cannot allow Dave Chappelle to disappear in his later years of life. This is the critical time. We need all of our soldiers now in the later years of our lives. We goofed up all of our lives. We goofed up all, you know what I'm saying? Not fucked up. We goofed up all of our lives. We goofed up all of our teenage lives. We goofed up all of our 20 years. And it's now time to really man up. How many folks out there goofed up? Stop saying you fucked up. Start saying I goofed up. Y'all goofed up, man. Start using goofy more and start using instead of fuck and start using coon more. You're gonna start making a change if you really start saying instead of yo I fucked up, you know, because that sounds cool. Damn, I fucked up. That sounds cool. But I goofed up. You're gonna stop goofing up. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying I'm fucking around, just saying I'm cooning around. You're gonna stop. Change your language. Change it on yourself. Yo, we can't allow my man Dave Chappelle to be silenced because somebody who changing up their nuts to a coochie. We can't allow that. That's corny.
I just didn't agree with what they were doing about it. Right. Right. No, it was annoying as fuck. Because if these women were serious, you know what they would have done? They all would have fired their agents. And they would have went to the mailroom of one of these big agencies and found a woman that was busting her up in there and said, if you want to talk to us, then you have to talk to her. And if they did that, then she would be big and they would be big and nobody would get fed to Harvey Weinstein. But did they do that? No. Was that their idea? No. Surprisingly, it was mine. What I think the feminist movement needs to be very successful is a male leader.
He said he think the feminists, and yo, it's so funny because he's beautiful because I swear he's doing comedy, but he's being 100% serious. Because earlier he said he went to the dictionary, looked at what a feminist is. He said he think that the feminist movement needs a male leader. Now watch what I'm going to say. I agree. I agree. If y'all had a male leader with your feminist movement, y'all will freaking blast through every door that's trying to stop you. And let's look at the LBGT movement itself. Do you think it's headed by a male or a female? I don't know who is, but I strongly feel that it's really being led by a female, a masculine female. Once again, he said it needs to be led by male, the feminist movement. Now, why do I say the feminist is way? The feminist movement is different than the LBGT. And our women got to understand that. Because, like my man Dave said, I used to always just have a thesaurus because whenever I talk to people, I want to have a thesaurus because, you know what I'm saying? They say words, I might say word, and I want everybody to be on the same accord with that word. The same understanding. Like, yo, do you know that's what the word means? Like, I was talking to my lady, and I was like, yo, do you know what the word woman means? She's like, what do it mean? I said, it means to be a servant. Then I said, yo, do you know what the word man means? She said, what do it mean? I said, it means to be a servant. To be a woman, you must serve. And to be a real man, you must serve. But we hear words and we think the harsh serve. I ain't serving nobody. Bitch, you better serve some food to these kids. Bitch, you better serve this. Nigga, you better serve. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what is wrong with us? We get so emotional when we hear words, but if we understood the true understanding and purpose and meaning of these words, then we start being men and women. So when you look up feminists, well, I let my man Dave say it. Fuck it. Freak me. I ain't gotta say it. I gotta find it though, okay? So just bear with me. But I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let Dave say it. He says it better.
And she sounds just like a man when she does it. Fuck that broke motherfucker and all that shit, all that shit. So what I did is I called my friend Ange. Ange is a black woman, comedy writer, and she's dope. Matter of fact, she's the only woman that I know personally that pays her ex-husband alimony. And she sounds just like a man when she does it. Fuck that broke motherfucker and all that shit, all that shit. So I hit Ange up. I hit her on the text. And all I did, I texted her. I said, Ange, are you going to the Women's March? And she texted me back, and it's a real text. She said, I hope those white bitches get tear gassed. There's a problem in that feminist movement, isn't there? From its inception in America, there's always been a racial component. When Susan B. Anthony was having that meeting and Sojourner Truth's black ass showed up. Read your history book.
It's like he said when he said read. See, this is where he went wrong. He said read your history book. He got to get demolished now. He wants black people to read a history book so we can understand the root meaning of something that's dealing with a situation now. Oh, he gotta be canceled. He can't be educating and waking up these mentally dead folks. No, we gotta cancel Dave. And we gonna sit back and let that happen? No, we can't allow that. Real straight men start, this anytime you can just shout out Dave Chappelle, you know what I'm saying? Free Dave Chappelle. Free Dave Chappelle. That's what it's about. It's not canceling, it's freedom. He's a free man who's speaking his mind freely and strongly, and they get mad.
They didn't want to conflate the issues of women's rights and slavery. You know how black bitches are. Sojourner Truth went up there anyway. She did a famous speech. She said, ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman? That's right. And listen. I supported the Me Too movement, but the whole time, I thought that the way they handled that was stupid. It was white. It was like they were doing shit like going to the Golden Globes, and all of them would be like, let's all go to the Golden Globes, wear black dresses. These men a piece of our minds. Bitch, that is not gonna work. Like, I want everybody to keep riding the bus, but wear matching outfits.
You see how the Jews that the man's dropping? He dropping so much Jew. Like, I mean, like if that really happened, most likely it did. We're going to go to the Golden Globe Awards and go and spend all this money on designer dresses, and this us wearing all black and us having our spokesperson speak to the press and let it be known that we are all wearing black. How much did all those dresses cost? Like, yo, it was like, yo, like I say, he said it, like he just think it was stupid the way they was going about it. Me too. I think they were stupid. And that's why we need men to really now start coming out. We need real straight men to come out the closet. Straight men are scared to come out the closet. We need straight men to come out the closet and start leading. Straight men to come out the closet. And straight man is not no hating man neither. That's a letter man. That's one of those letter men. I guess we're gonna give you an H. LBGTH. The ones who got female qualities. We need real straight men to come out and start leading because this is for real. This man's dropping A bombs and A bombs and A bombs on something that most people don't want to talk about, and he's doing it in a comedy form.
You gotta get off the bus and walk. That's real talk. Real talk. That was a silly movement. I want everybody to wear crocheted pussy hats so they know we're serious.
Yo, that shit was crazy because, like I said, I didn't know too much about what was going on with the whole Me Too movement. And so the woman was like saying to me, "You don't have the pink hat?" I'm like, "The what? The pink hat?" Then I had to go. And yo, I was in Manhattan. So, I mean, the beautiful thing about the city is the city. So I jetted from the location. I was with this girl. She was working the table. I jetted from her, went through all this crazy crowd shit, went all the way to my location where I get my stuff real quick. Thank goodness it was not that far. Got some pink hats. It wasn't the pussycat hats. It was pink fucking hat. And in less than 10 minutes, I blew out all the pink hats. And I'm just shaking my head. Like, yo, you women make everything economical. And it's no real movement behind it because, like he said, you could have easily, instead of going to some Golden Globes with dresses on, you could have went down to some factory and defended some women. You could have had your movement just defending the regular working women in mailrooms. You could have went through the strippers, the bars, and represent these women. But it was Hollywood, and all of our ground women got behind it because they want something to be part of. They want to find strength and power, and that's why it's important for us men to get out there and give our women some strength and power. It's not, we can't allow Dave Chappelle to be canceled. Because I know everybody, many people who sat there and watched, especially straight people who watched the closing and watched it and listened to it and heard him say, "Yeah, I ain't hear him say anything wrong. I ain't hear him say anything wrong." This okay. I'm gonna use Shakin Ra. Shakin Ra was lured in to to someone's live and was offered some money to have a conversation. No one knows what that boy is going through in his life. No one knows him because no one really knows him like that. No one really knows each other on the internet unless they got off the internet and met each other and really have a personal relationship. But nobody knows him personally, like when he's by himself behind closed doors. No one knows if he's really prone to kill himself. But yet, it's still, we do this every day to our men. We talk about each other every day harshly and things like that. But let a man decide that he wants to be a female. Let a man decide that he wants to be a female, and that same man that when he's a man, we can talk about him and it's nothing. Oh, be a man, but now he has lipstick on and a wig and some heels. We gotta treat him differently. And then, like I said, what happens if Shakim decide that, yo, I can't take this no more. This verbal abuse is too harsh for me, and he kills himself. Oh, he wasn't a strong man. But let the guy with the wig on, who's claimed to be female, and who decided to take off his manlyhood and decide that he wanted to allow men to enter him and decide that he likes all sorts of men to do all sorts of things to him that even if you was a woman, you one day would think about, damn, I shouldn't allow that to happen. And so now you as a man sitting back and thinking about, damn, I shouldn't allow that to happen. And now you kill yourself because someone talks about it and we are wrong and you a victim. Like, the world needs therapy. We need to put down these devices, or we need to use this technology on a different level. We need a world, we need a world link where the entire world, where whoever got a cell phone, you can tap into this one link and it'd be this one giant chat room. And you have specific people to have this conversation about specific things: race, gender, economics, and motherfucking what is God and who is God and what God you serve. Fuck everything else. Can you imagine that link? Can you imagine that chat? Can you imagine? And it being really organized and structured. You having real moderators that's really organized and structured according to your race and your gender, your age. You know, it's really you linked in on like that, and so your comments is really registered a certain way, and so it's doing a poll on how people feel as the chat is going. We have to have real discussions on real topics. Because this man who done decided he wanted to become a female comes across a real man and have a real man in a huddle, and this real man gets to him in a certain type of way, and then he kills himself, and then the real man's supposed to really kill himself for letting the nigga know, yo, you once had balls and you want to cut them off. Like, come on, folks. I don't know the entire story, but for us straight men to really become silenced, because the same dude that we was in the locker room together with when we was junior high school and when we was in elementary school, now that he's on his own in the big world, he took off his boy underwears and put girl underwears on, and now we have to become sensitive to that. I can see if the person is mentally challenged and you joking shit. You know what I'm saying? You got a person who's really completely one of those real retards, you know, one of the real ones, and you joking that shit and joking that's different. But when you talk about sane motherfuckers, a sane person who washes and drinks and eats and talks like you and do everything like you and think like you and actually is way smarter than you, and too smart for themselves that they cut off their shit. Anybody, listen, anybody who's really cutting off a body part is gotta have therapy anyway. The way I look at it. I want you to just take it for what it is. You cut off a body part. You cut off a finger. And if you, who want to cut off their finger? Who want to cut off their nose? Who want to cut off a toe? You know, those people who with diabetes. Do you want to get your foot cut off? So what's the difference now? All of a sudden you cut your dick off. Who the fuck is cutting their dick off and supposed to get sympathy? It just don't sound right. Cut your head off. Cut your arm off. Cut your nipples off. Take the fingernail clippers and just clip your nipple off. Don't that shit sound crazy? So for a straight man to hear another man going to the hospital and get his dick cut off, that just sounds weird to me. I mean, I'm sorry. Now let's keep going down the list. Let's go down the list. Cut your ear off. Mike Tyson bit off the man's ear. That should be normal then. If we thinking that the world is normal, a man cutting off his balls and his penis is normal, then biting the ear off is normal. They fighting. Shit, that's only right. They having a fight. Bite their ear off. Fuck it. If going to the hospital and cutting your dick and your balls off is normal, let's write a book. Let's write a book for 5-year-olds. It's the story of the boy called Tom who decided he wanted to be called Tanya. And he decided he wanted to be called Tanya, but before he's age of he wouldn't be Tanya by the time he had by the time he's 16. He wouldn't be Tanya. He wouldn't be married at the age of 18. And Tom decided that he's going to raise up some money, so he's going to sell some lemonade because he wanted to raise up the money to get his balls cut off. Is this a normal story? Is this a normal story that you want your kids to read? Is that a normal story that you want your children, your 6-year-olds to be reading? The story of Tom and how he got his balls cut off? That's why I say it's important for us straight men to get behind people who's not afraid to get off the bus and walk away from $50 million. And then when you come back and his answers, yo, they want me to put on a dress. Like, yo, that's deep. Like, salute. Oprah, like, why did you walk away from $50 million? And he's like, because they wanted me to put on a red dress. Now, remember the coon of the day? Which one you coons would have threw that dress on in a heartbeat? With the pumps on and red lipstick? %99 of you motherfuckers. But then when they call the next nigga gay, but you would have took that 50 million? Oh, it's 50 million. So then how you gonna call the next man gay, period? No, thank you. I found a way to get 10 million. Let's go back to Dave real quick.
What the fuck was y'all doing? And then I said something about it in one of my specials, and all these women actresses came after me. I said, man, fuck y'all too. You canceled. I ain't jerking off to none of your pictures again.
I'm trying to go back to what the word feminist means.
She sounds just like a man when she does it. Fuck that broke motherfucking all that shit, all that shit. Support the feminist movement. I do in my own ways. When you guys did the Women's March, I tried to go and support you. And none of my friends would.
I think it was early.
Years, I thought it meant.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. It was at the very beginning.
For women, shocked that's what that meant. What the dictionary definition of a feminist is, I didn't either. Listen to this. Webster defines a feminist. It's a human being, not a woman, a human being that believes in equal rights for women. I'm shocked that's what that meant. Because by that definition, I would consider myself a feminist. And I didn't even know that at the time. All these years, I thought it meant frumpy dyke. Well, that's what's always talking to me, some chicken overalls. Men are trying to rape us. Ah, not you, bitch, please. I know. Look, listen. I support the feminist movement. I do in my own ways. When you guys did the women's march, I tried to go and support you.
A human being. Keyword, a human being who believes in equal rights for women. Like I say, folks, we gotta know these definitions, know these words, and stop going on, like he said, assumption. Because I'm pretty sure that was a feminist for years. For many folks, is that they if you thinking like the dictionary, you think about the word, and you think about the sideline picture, a little small caption. That's the picture that you were seeing. Some little dyke woman with some overall pants with the short haircut as a feminist. But it's a human being. So going back to when I'm saying that I agree with him that the feminist movement should be led by a man, I think so. A human being. So if you can have an advocate for the women and it's the leader is a man, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get through some doors. Because all he gotta do now is get more troops, more men troops to stand firm for these women and their rights. And now you got women who being protected. That's one way in one word, but women who's being led by men. Women who's being protected. Like if you have an army and you about to go into war, your army's out there protecting you, but your army, like the army, is out there leading the pack. You send the army in to they lead, and then you send them, then you send them, and then you send them. You know what I'm saying? So if you have some men out there protecting women, change the words around, you have men leading women. And that's what your women need. Let it happen. Embrace it. And that's the victory to life. Going back to like knowing the roles and the play, playing our positions. And that's why we need a real strong 2022 men's movement. We need a straight guy talk. We need straight guy talk. We need straight guy talk. We need straight guy talk. Fuck all this other shit. Stop siding on behalf of women all the time before you get yourself straight. Let's get ourselves straight as men so we could be on the front line and then we can defend our women. But if you try to put that defense of the women out there first and foremost as the most important thing, and you don't have yourself together, then your army is already weak. Men, we gotta get ourselves right. We gotta get off that letter H. Guys, get off those H qualities. That's the new letter. They just remember it's LBGT plus. So I'm adding a new letter to it, the letter H. The letter H has been added to the LGBTQ shit. We got H now. H stands for all the haters. And if you're a male hater and you're a male hater on another male, that means you have female qualities, which puts you in that LBGT category. How many H's is out there? Cash App hoes. We need to get behind Dave CHAPPEL. Like I was out in Dave CHAPPEL. I was out. This man's name not Dave CHAPPEL, but I was out in Brooklyn, and I went out to that rally. I went to the basketball game, but I went out to the rally they was having for Kyrie Irving. And I got there maybe like 20 minutes too late. But it seemed like they had a good crowd out there earlier when I seen it on the news. And this man said, yo, I'm not just going to put anything in my system just because you guys tell me to. I'm standing strong on my toes. But the coons would say, fuck that, you gotta get that money. Worry about it later on. Nothing's gonna happen. You good. Well, for all those people who have the hunch feelings, let us have our hunch feelings about it and leave us alone. If COVID is going to be the thing that's going to separate the world, then separate. We ain't talking about isolate, separate. Maybe that's the beginning stage of separation, which might be good. If separating with power for all people is power, giving all people power, and we separate, cool. But don't separate those who have the shot and from those who don't have the shot, and then separate them in where it's like a have and have not type of situation. Nah, don't do that. Treat them as equal. How can you take a man who's worth $50 million, let's say worth $56 million, and put him as a have not because he didn't take a shot? That's what I'm saying. You can't do it. I don't know if Cube took the shot or not, but what someone said he turned down like $9 million role for something, so maybe he didn't take the shot. How are you going to put Cube in the bracket of have not and try to put him with people who need? You say he don't get the same rations because he don't have a shot. No, you can't do that. So if you want to separate from those who have the shot and don't have the shot, then do it, but do it right. Like I said, this might be the first stages of segregation. I'm for it if we can have power for all those who segregate. Those people might be people out there that's really for integration. That's all cool. The world's big. We could chop it up. I was just thinking about where's the first all girl, or the first all gay school. Where's that at? Where's the school for just leather kids? Where's the leather school at? That should be the name of it, LGBT school. That's hot name. That's it. You ain't gotta be no name unless you do like the Arthur Ashe school or something, or like the what was the first white dude that died from the AIDS that they really put out there? Damn, why the man name disappeared from my mind? It wasn't Charlton Heston. What was his man name? The first person who died of AIDS that they put out there. I'm pretty sure mad people died from AIDS, but the first celebrity. But anyway, we don't need to put those names in school. Let's just put LGBT school. Because it don't make no sense no more. If this is where it's at, there's no more need to keep integrating everybody together. No one has to be forced upon it. No little gay boy need to be amongst people who are straight and talking about him. He need to be around his own people. So it's time for them to put together and start having gay schools. Let them be amongst themselves. Be free, happy, comfortable. Don't have to look over your shoulder. You got your gay bus driver. All of that. Gay teachers. I would have so much more respect for that. They can have you can have acres of land and have gay territory, shopping mall, all that shit. Have like your own zip code, but don't force everybody to have to feel sorry for you cutting off a body part, or you feeling like this ain't the body part that you want, because it just don't sound sane to sane ears, not straight person ear, but to sane ears. And so when the sane ears and is on a straight person body, and then out there sane person mouth comes straight talk. The straight talk is now need to be canceled when no matter what we talk about, it's strange. It's very strange for somebody to be walking around with one ear because they cut off. They thought it was. They thought that they didn't need the other ear. They didn't think they needed the other ear. Well, I don't think I need the two ears that I was born with, so I'm gonna cut one ear off. Like, let's hear the stories. Like, I didn't think that I should. That I need these things, so I cut my titties off. Like, if we really talk this shit out, like in insane comedy form, it don't sound right. It don't like be blind. Be blind. Just listen to it. Hey mom, I'm 10 years of age and I woke up. I was looking at YouTube all night and I had a dream, and in my dream it said that I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. So when I turn 15, I want to get my dick cut off. When I turn 16, I'm when I turn 16, I'm technically a man, so I want to cut my balls off. Like, do it sound right? And y'all want to be mad? Do it sound right? Okay, let's not talk about sexual parts. Like I say, everybody, most people in the world got 10 fingers. Hey, I woke up in the morning and because, I don't believe in this whole fuck you attitude, I decided that I'm going to cut my middle fingers off. Like you with somebody, they like ask you a question. What happened to your finger? Why you only got 4 fingers? Well, I mean, I woke up one day, I decided to cut it off. Do it sound right? Oh, I respect that. I respect your decision that you cut your finger off. So now, same person. Hey, I woke up and I decided to cut my dick off. Oh, I respect your decision. We supposed to respect that? Then we supposed to cancel the person who's bringing the real craziness to the attention of the people. Like, yo, this shit just sounds crazy. I respect your decision to cut off a body part. Nah, straight man, it's very important for us to rally behind straight men. We need that. We need that manhood. We need that powwow. Because if we don't start standing up now, like I say, strong voices will just become echoes in the dark. Strong voices become echoes in the dark. And just like Planet of the Apes, straight man would be the first one in cages or dead. Because this devil would have to get rid of the straight man first. If it wanted to truly. It already conquered the leather people. Because the devil already got them in the mindset of confusion. That's what the devil does. That's what evil do. If you don't want to believe in devil, demons, and shit like that. Evil causes confusion. So it's easy to cast a spell on the leather people because they are already confused. So the first thing you have to do is take out straight talkers. Get rid of the straight talkers. Straight man rise up. Black man rise up. Black man rise, original rebel. it was so funny because of all comedians, I really thought that Dave Chappelle would been when I first seen Dave Chappelle. I think the first time I saw Dave Chappelle was on I don't know if it was Half Baked or if it really was the Nutty Professor, because I seen Half Baked years after it came out. Yeah, so I think the first time I seen him was a Nutty Professor. And I just hated the outfit they had the nigga in. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the? Right? Like, he looks stupid. He probably didn't even like the shit. But, you know, and, no, it's probably what something about. I think he always used to do some corny, crazy shit back in days like that. So I wasn't like a huge fan of his. And even as the Dave Chappelle show was out, I wasn't watching it like many people. It was especially funny because at the time when the show first came out, I was just in college, and so I didn't have cable neither in college, so I wasn't watching the show. And then I was working a whole lot, so I wasn't able to see the Dave Chappelle show. I was working, so I wasn't watching the show. But you know, I go to it and I sit there and watch some of it. And, you know, I saw the humor. You know, it was kind of weird humor. But as Dave progressed, I really like Dave because I like his mind, I like the way he thinks. You know what I'm saying? I really like the way he thinks. Most comedians are not really that stupid. It's just those that are stupid be the ones that really get real spotlight. And even if they're not really stupid, they gotta act stupid. So a lot of them just be acting that crazy dumb shit. But then they get canceled when they turn the cards and turn the heat up and jump off the back burner. Now is the time for little people to be able to grab a hold of the big people. Now is the time for the commoners to be able to get a hold of the noblemen. The commoners now have a chance to really get a hold of the kingsmen and the noblemen. All we have to do is come together. The common men, the commoners have to come together and make their voices one. And all our voices as men have to just say one thing. Well, this is not one thing, but one sentence. I am straight and I'm proud. We gotta start the I'm straight and I'm proud movement by all means necessary. Because I'm telling you, the leather people, the leather men's and leather men women can care less about straight people. They probably would say shit like they all can die. You know, they probably was you they probably say some hard shit. And then they be the ones that sign the checks. Like I say, folks, we gotta get our minds right. I'm thinking about eating. My mind just switched off because I'm saying get our minds right. Think about Ian J. Mason. They was doing the live stream with Umar Johnson today, and Umar live in the well, it was last year shit, but he was in the graveyards. And I keep telling y'all folks this shit. Umar was saying something to you guys last year, and you know that video was last year, early last year, back in March. And when I came on the scene, I said something to you. I said, and I don't really be watching these YouTube things, especially back then. And I said, like, they was like, what's the problem with Umar? And I said, I don't know. I think he got some real demons around him. And so for me to really see the nigga in the fucking graveyard and shit like that, listen, folks, you call him a scammer, I call him a dreamer. Any person who out their mouth says various things, the words that come out your mouth is the words that come out your mouth. The words that come out his mouth is he want to do something for black boys. He want to do something good. He want to educate black boys. He don't want the black boys to go to the prison pipeline. He don't want to be misdiagnosed with ADHD and all the other shit, whatever ADHD and misdiagnosed and be put in special ed. So he put those words out there, so that automatically get an energy on it. Now, whether he's a scam or not, that also get an energy. But the words that came out his mouth are going to get energy, and the energy that's going to be sent at him is not going to be anything that's really positive because that's the world that this negative energy don't want. They don't want black man to become self-sufficient, self-sustained. So it's going to send out all, and I know this because it's happened in my own personal life. Like many folks don't have to believe in that world, but I'm telling you, the spirit world is really some deep shit. So when he said that, when EJ was doing the broadcast on him and said that that was back in March of 2020, I had to think. I said, "Damn, that's some deep shit." Because when I came to this, when I called Umar up, I hit him up on the text, and I hit him on the text. I said, "Yo, do you want these things?" And I sent them a picture. Now, like I told you, I've done sent many text messages to him on many occasions. But at this particular time, he responded back kind of quick. But even when I sent the text, I kind of sensed an energy. And this is what you guys got to understand. So I sent something and I text him out of nowhere. And then he texts me back. That's why the energy that I felt was confirmed. I was like, wow, he do need you. And so then we went back and forth with text messages. And I told him I'm in Philly now. Even though at that time I was in New York because I've been going back and forth to New York, but I was staying in Philly with this old guy, and so he was like, "Oh, you in Philly, yo?" And then that's when he hit me up, and we was talking on the phone. He called me up, and then that's when I started. That's when I started first going to the school. Now, when we had that conversation, he said it like this. He was like, I can hear in his voice that he was really happy. And he said, "Yo, things was going down. Some things were going on. This, that, and the other. He was having a little. He had a situation. He was really praying, and he said he was praying to ancestors, and he really needs some help. And and like this. He's like, yo, he really and like, yo, this is a blessing. Like, you need me to come to school because he was like, he need to find out like somebody who he can trust on a certain mission." And me and him, like I said, we didn't have no real. We had a personal relationship because I did some work for him. He gave me money before he got a finished product. He gave me a lot of money, and he got the finished product, and he knew he could trust me. And so he said he needed somebody that he could trust, and it kind of caught me off guard. So I'm like, okay. So when when you joking about him in the graveyard and shit like that, this man is really on that ancestral prayer and shit. I was out there with him on the land and part of one of his seances or whatever that shit was. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I re, I even went down to the Georgia and went to the land with Malachi York, Dr. York, when he was free. I was down there with him on his land. We had a big ceremony. It was one that I forget. I don't know a lot of this stuff, but who knows rituals? They was having one of the rituals on the land, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up and down. When I walked the pilgrimage, and they have this little book and this prayers and all this other shit, I was like, yo, listen, man, I don't know about this, but I'm gonna pray. But I'm gonna pray my way. But as I did what I did, when I got back home, my prayers was really answered. Like really 1,000% answered. Like I had to jump back and look. It was only me in the room, but I mean I had to jump back and look like, what the fuck? So when Umar said that he actually was praying to the ancestors and saying, and then I hit him up, he was like, yo, this is really when can I get to him? You guys you most of you folks don't be understand like real shit. Yo, like why he let you in school, this, that, because the ancestors answer his calls, answer his prayers, and he needed somebody. It's just that at the same time, the demon was at the same door. The demon said, we don't need him. He's going to hurt us. We need Omar. And I'm trying to tell you, it's like that. It's some old exorcist shit. But you guys could go back and forth in whatever way you want to know. But I had a personal relationship. I was personally around. I was able to see. Nigga has his own demons personally, but then he's attacked with others. And like Jamal said, I mean, you guys, I'm saying, I said it too. Freak, with fucking what his father said. I'm saying it. The hate, the letter H that came from a lot of men. Forget about the women. The H that came from a lot of men. The hate that came from a lot of men sucked out. The hate that came from the men really sucked out any really good qualities of Umar. Forget about the women. The hate that came from the men really sucked out Umar Johnson good qualities. Whatever good qualities that he had, it was sucked out. Within like the last 5 years, all what last bit of good quality that was in that man's body and his soul, whatever it was completely sucked out. When the H came from the men, especially. Because you, as a man, as a boy, you always get certain things from girls. You always get a chick to hit you and say fuck you, and you always get that. But it's like your boy, when your boys, when your niggas turn the back on you, it makes you really become a different being. And then when you start relying on women, then you start picking up their traits, and women traits women who has traits that's already toxic because of their environments and the demons that they have, and now they're around you. He's all fucked up. That's why I kept saying he need men around him. He need real men around. And I still say a year later, and I'm not even thinking about what I said years ago. And as I say it now, it just sounds that crisp. Going back to what I was saying about Dave Chappelle, we need a leader. We need men to lead in all ways. We need the men's movement. We need the major men's powwow. We need men's therapy. This ain't no gay shit. This some real men shit. We need men bonding. Yo, one of the greatest cries I've ever did in my life was with this complete stranger. But the funny thing is I met him before. Not to really put him on blast because he actually is somebody out there in Queens. He made himself a name. But fuck it, I put him on blast because this is real talk right here. And before I really made the trip out here, one last people I was conversing with West Ham, and I really got to get back with him because we got build on this shit. Because we was talking about this. because we was out in St. Albans Park, and I was selling my ice and some product, and he was out there. He came out there, his product. He was selling his shirts and stuff like that. He just popped up on the screen, started putting shirts up. He was like right across from me, and I'm like, why is this nigga right across from me? What the fuck? But then my the H in me had to disappear. Okay, the hate in me I had to let that disappear because I was like, why is he right here with all this fucking space? And so it all started from a lighter conversation. Then it went from me getting him a lighter, because St. Albans Park is my park. And so I got him a lighter, and then we was kicking and talking. Then I took a picture for him because one of the big time dudes from 40 Projects was up in the park. And so he was like, yo, what up? Take this picture with me. They was chopping up. Make the long story short, he was one of the designers for one of these, those Queen shirts. You know what I'm saying? You got the Queen shirts and shit like that. Well, anyway, we was chopping it up. We was really talking, and then he was giving me some words of realism, like, "Yo, man, no matter what you going through, like your cart's fucked up, you going through all this shit. Don't worry." He's like, "Look at me," you know what I'm saying? And he started bringing it down with him. Then he told me a little bit of his story. He's like, he's talking about the hate he gets, and then we huddled up. We were just talking because it went from there. It just went from regular conversation, him dropping jewels to me. Then went to a different level, and a different level. Then we had to move from. We had to. It was a big event going on in the park. We had to separate ourselves from what was going on because the male bonding that we was doing was energy that we had to release because of the pain that we had inside of our souls because of our people. And I didn't know him. He didn't know me. And then I had to sit back and think, damn, son, 15 years ago, you did meet him. And when I met him, when he first started those shirts, we had a conversation, and it was a long conversation again. So I remember this dude and my bond was genuine. We were spiritually connected. And that's where y'all niggas gotta get to minds right. Because there's a spiritual world out there too. You got the goofy world, but there's a spiritual world too. And it's time for us men to really tap into it because we need it. We gotta tap into it because it's needed, and our women need it, and the babies need it. And that spirit is buried right now. It's like buried in a asylum, in the mausoleum, mausoleum, and it's like really buried underneath like the mausoleum, and like 30 feet deep. And it's like all those men's souls and spirits. And I'm telling you, it's like the guardian angels, whatever that shit is. You gotta get it back. You gotta get back your souls. And it starts with caring for the next person. So I know Dave is rich, and I know Dave can hold his own, but Dave needs some troops behind him. He needs some soldiers behind him, some straight men talking that same talk, so the world could see you're not going to keep singling us out and lynching us. It's easy to lynch people when you can single them out. We got to stand firm and say you're not going to continue to single us out and think you're going to get away with it. I don't know what part you said facts to, but that's what's up, West Bank. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. I just know that the time is now. Like niggas might even think Kanye West is a bozo. Fuck out of here. No, Kanye West is deep in this rabbit hole, and he wants to say a lot of shit, and he can't say a lot of shit, and then he do say too much shit, and then he just crazy and eccentric on his own because Kanye was never a broke nigga. Kanye West was always in a different type of bracket. Kanye West is like a bougie nigga. turn the hood, who's in conflict with himself, but yet and still is not no bozo. Whatever men that's really out there in the spotlight right now that they putting out there in the spotlight, we gotta figure out which men is really could be chosen for the straight man's movement. Because there's a lot of therapy that's needed right now. And like I said, certain people's needed for the therapy itself. Shit. If Kanye West came decide that he's going to do a therapy tour, therapy powwow session, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, man. And this shouldn't be a secret. It should be just a real fact. Take away that man's stuff. Take away his fame. Take away his money. Take away all that he accomplished. Take away his talent. He's a human being, and then he's a man, and then he's a black man. Now, when you look at all that, we talk about Kanye, and when you look at all that, and then you say, forget about the fame, forget about the talent, forget about the money. What do a black man want? And you say a woman. So technically, with this man, Kanye, he really needs some therapy personally, okay? Because quiet is kept. He's a family guy. Many people will not get married. Now I don't know how real their marriage is, but he got married to Kim Kardashian. He married her. People talk about Umar Johnson and not being married, so that he married her. I say salute to Sean Bell, the young boy who was 23 who got murdered by the police. I salute him because he was getting married to his woman. So take away all the money and the fame. This man need therapy because he actually has a big heart for love. Even though he has a big heart for lust, he has room in his heart for love, and he probably hurt women. Hell yeah, but his little ass probably got hurt, and he needs therapy. He probably been hurt many times before he even became Ye and Kanye West. When he was just the Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Before he became big Kanye, I'm pretty sure his psyche been messed up with already. Before he got into the industry, I know his psyche was already messed up. And when you get into the world of making money before you get therapy, you really end up fucked. You end up fucked. And that's why we need therapy. Men need to be able to talk to one another. And that's why I'm gonna switch. I'm like gonna go way left with this. That's why when I be getting on ghosts about certain things, like, yo, don't be really shooting down these people. Don't shoot them down too fast. Don't shoot them down so quick, including myself. But don't shoot them down so fast because they probably been paying attention to you on a different way that you actually probably helped them out. You probably getting them through their day. You probably a therapy to them. I was thinking about. I'm going way left now. I'm calling niggas names, which I don't even like doing. But I was thinking about what's that dude named Stephen G. And I was like, yo, even these people be flip flopping all this shit, but yet still, He probably wanted to be on the team. He probably really wanted to be genuinely on the team. Photon wanted to be on the team. That's why I opened up the doors to Shock and Rob. Like, yo, I done seen you put a tooth out there like 1,000 times, but I'm not a weak link nigga. So I mean, like, and I can attack back. So, but I don't even need to. I'd rather you just rock out so we can get some paper. But of course, he ain't gonna take the invitation the right way. Niggerism gonna kick in. A smart nigga would be like, yo, what you talk about? But like I say, there's a lot of letter people out there, a lot of lettermen out there. Are you a letterman? You a H man? Or you a B man? You a G man? Or you a T man? Or you a human? Like I say, folks, it's time for a straight man to get behind your boy Dave Chappelle. The straight man to get behind Dave Chappelle. Peace.